Hey guys, I'm Star Wars Meg and welcome back to another Force-filled video. Today we're going to be talking about Skeleton Crew. I posted my full breakdown of the most recent trailer, but there is something most fans missed. In 2016 for Rogue One, and 2 years later for Solo, we had the famous subtitle tagline, A Star Wars Story. Ah yes, something very novel and much discussed during those days. This was Lucasfilm's way of denoting the fact these movies were spin-offs, and separate from the main, numbered saga movies, especially considering the sequel trilogy films were releasing around the same time. Well now my dear friends, in 2024 for Skeleton Crew, unlike the other Mandoverse shows, it's got a new tagline, not a Star Wars story, but a Star Wars adventure. This is almost a warning from Lucasfilm and Disney, and I'll tell you why. They're setting expectations, sending the message, this story is going to be much smaller in scale, not necessarily a continuation of Mando and Ahsoka, and probably not as serious. Now here's the thing, I've speculated on a couple of plot points that might connect, but generally speaking, they're warning us in advance, this is a Star Wars adventure, and as such, implies a more escapist, fun tone, instead of the more heavy and galaxy-defining stakes. A Star Wars story has more of a gravity to it, implying a more structured, long-term consequential impact on the whole Star Wars galaxy. This one seems less intense. That being said, Star Wars Adventure does not mean it's going to be any less impactful on viewers. And hopefully we're in for an 80s Amblin-inspired treat. I just thought this was a very interesting detail, and did you know, my dear friends, according to Kathleen Kennedy, the reason Lucasfilm stopped using the A Star Wars Story tagline in the first place after the 2 spin-off movies was because of the shift to Disney+. In 2019, The Mandalorian started airing, the sequel trilogy came to an end, and so everything on the Disney+ platform under Star Wars was going to be under the brand, so they didn't need the spin-off differentiation. That being said, one of the main reasons that Lucasfilm doesn't want to admit is because Solo struggled at the box office. That was really the final nail in the coffin. But it's pretty fascinating to get a new and deliberate tagline for this show, and a different kind of series at that. A Star Wars adventure. Are you a fan? Do you think Star Wars should bring back taglines across all upcoming content? Does it help Lucasfilm target the right audiences? Not every show is going to appeal to every kind of Star Wars fan. And in the spirit of not taking everything too seriously, there have been some theories that have emerged after the final trailer dropped, and I kind of want to address a couple of them. They're quite fun, but I'm afraid, my dear friends, I don't put too much weight into them. So what am I talking about? The final frame of the official trailer showed a pirate's den, an Indiana Jones Temple of Doom-esque pirate treasure lair, and right at the back of it, at the mantelpiece, the throne, a giant's golden Weequay skull. As you can imagine, Star Wars fans are already starting to speculate, is this to do with Hondo Ohnaka? How could you not have the most important pirate in all of Star Wars in the one and only pirate-centric Star Wars show? Well, the image certainly evokes that a Hondo Ohnaka appearance could be nigh. But 2 problems. First of all, it looks too ancient. Plus, if you know anything about Hondo, he's not the kind of character to have a lair like that. I love the idea of him selling artifact booty to collectors, but I think his lair would be his ship, the Katuni, the ZH-40 Tribune-class light freighter, named after the Padawan from the Clone Wars series. But I don't think he's responsible for this particular den of goodies. One character I do think is overdue a live-action appearance is Dr. Aphra, one of my favourites from the comics. And speaking of the underworld, warlords, pirates, and by the way another connection to Solo A Star Wars Story, one character who could be responsible for this, who originates in the expanded universe, is Sim the Despot. He existed tens of thousands of years before Skeleton Crew even took place, but his treasures, many of them crystal and golden skulls, were discovered long after, even as far into the future as the First Order's reign. Another fun theory I've seen, my dear friends, is to do with a character played by Kerry Condon. It's been noted her outfit is very Chandrilan, very reminiscent of Mon Mothma, and maybe like the Chancellor of the New Republic, she too is Chandrilan. However, the theory goes, what if the character who is confirmed to be Fern's mum is actually Mon Mothma's daughter all grown up from Andor Season 1, Leader Mothma? Well, I'm sorry to burst that bubble, guys, but it's not. Not only is the character much older than Leader would be at this stage, but we also now know the character's called Farah, not leader, but it is a fun theory nonetheless. Now, while that's been debunked, there is potentially a very good chance the show does give us some New Republic. StarWars.com posted an interview with John Watts and Chris Ford, but they quickly removed one section which was too revealing. Star Wars fans got the screenshot very quickly, and essentially it confirmed our theories that the kids are from a planet no one has heard of. Now, because they're going to draw attention of pirates, syndicates, goodness knows who else, and we know there's going to be some X-Wings, they could draw the attention of the New Republic. The parents of the children might decide after some time has passed they're going to risk everything and contact the New Republic for help. This could be how some familiar faces come into play. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, it's just a theory, but this could be an important link. Now, the caveat I have to add is the creators on the website do say there is no Star Wars you need to watch before this show. You don't need any prior information of Mando, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka. You can go in brand new with no prior knowledge. Now, this can mean two things. Either there is nothing connected to what we know and you can go in blind, or if there is, they're just going to explain it. I mean, for goodness sake, they said the same thing for the Ahsoka show, and watching Rebels in advance absolutely enhances your experience. So I wouldn't put too much weight on their words in this instance, but it is worth considering there are no major cameos other than what they've told us. But you know, I love speculating, you guys know this, and there's a part of me that's hoping they do tie in some other aspects of the Star Wars underworld. Prince Sheezel, for example. Could you imagine if we see what Kira is up to after her appearances in the comics, Solo: A Star Wars Story and Star Wars Outlaws? Maybe some other familiar faces from other New Republic shows. I only say this because Dave Filoni did work on it, and every single story set during this era so far has had one connection to another piece of Star Wars media. So I suppose my question to you guys for the comments down below is, if you had to wager one character from any Star Wars movie, show, comic book, anywhere else that you think fits in Skeleton Crew, who is it? Let me know down below. An important quote from the interview is this: to prepare for the show, the creators revisited their favourite adventure stories as well as Lucas's own influences. And did you know, guys, the choice of scenes in the trailer were deliberate because there is a juxtaposition to the serene suburbia to what's later in the show. It was important to create that tension, Watts added. And here's something that really piqued my interest. Skeleton Crew is full of nods to deep corners of Star Wars lore. And in light of recent conversations we've had on this channel about how Star Wars needs to introduce more aspects of Legends, this is the show to do it. The Dash Rendars of the galaxy, the Han Solo trilogy has plenty of interesting things that could be brought in. Again, I'm not saying it's going to be to that extent. Even if it's just canonizing a species or two, I'm still pretty pumped. But the most important thing they say is they want fans to have fun. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts on these comments and everything we spoke about in this news update. What are your wildest theories? What kind of things do you want to see in Skeleton Crew? And how are you feeling just 1 month to go? At D23 in Brazil, it's rumoured we're going to get some information about Andor Season 2, The Mandalorian and Grogu, some first looks. Skeleton Crew is going to be the main event though, and when the show drops in December I will be covering every single episode, so if you've not done so, please be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, check me out on socials, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.